I've been thinking about who I am and who I want to become. And I guess in that light, I had a few thoughts, right? One is to not pursue the thing that you really want to become, to not try to not go after it, whatever it is always worse than doing it and being bad at it or being clumsy or tripping a lot. And so sometimes when I think about my life, I think, okay, but at least I'm still trying to do the thing that I want to do, right? I used to make video lectures for when COVID hit, and I was so bad at them in the beginning. And I'm not sure that I was ever really great at them, but I do know that they got a little bit better. So, yeah, I mean, that did happen. And then when COVID was over and we had teaching online or like in person again, I remember being like, this was a skill. And I like having skills. And in all honesty, I did enjoy this a lot. And I think about teaching and education in general a lot. But I also think about who I am, where I'm trying to go, who I'm trying to become. And I don't know if this sounds like rambling or not, but it probably does. I'm trying. Um, I don't know if I should just like start all over again. So, my name is Mobina. I used to be a teacher. I've been a teacher like for as long as I feel like I have wanted to be something. I think teaching has been part of it. The other part has been writing, and I think generally just the theme of whatever it is that I'm trying to do here right now is sort of like a reflection of who we are and who we become. But I used to make video lectures and I used to enjoy them. Not in the beginning, it was very cringy. I think if there's any like life lessons that I do have, one of them is that it's always like you can be bad at something and it can be really awkward and it can be so embarrassing and it can just be overall like it can be a lot. But no matter how strange and uncomfortable and difficult and how cringy you might feel in the beginning, it's always worth it to pursue something that you want to do or something that you want to become. And in that light, I guess, I don't really feel like I'm such a complex person. I think, I think, I think a teacher is something that I wanted to be ever since I can remember. And it's weird because with every decade that passes, it's like it's the same question. It just comes out in different forms. But I used to enjoy making. I think about talim, I think about education, I think about institutions, I think about academia, I think about what it means to be a good teacher, I think about what education represents. I think about all of that and I think about it on loop, right? And one of the things that happened during my time as a teacher was COVID happened. And one of the things that I did do was I started making video lectures because it felt much easier because Zoom classes, it depends on internet connectivity, etc. And yeah, one of the things that I enjoyed making was video lectures. I was really bad at them in the beginning though, like really, really bad. Um, but I think maybe I had some that were not, you know, too terrible. And now when I think about teaching, I do think about media or whatever technology all of this stuff is. And I enjoy it as well because it's like different mediums, right? Like if you're a writer, there's a lot of joy in like scribbling on paper, but then it's fun to type. And maybe that's what like teaching is as well, right? Like one institute can offer you certain things, another institute can offer you certain things, and then being in a class and teaching and speaking to people is also really fun, but so is this. It can be fun. But I I mean, one of the things that I've always wanted to be has been a teacher, but then there's also some other things that I think have kind of held me for a long time. And the other thing is writing. And like, for me, I guess the two aren't inseparable, but I was just thinking about who we are and how we become what we become years down the road. Um, so I was thinking about all of these things. I was thinking about like this theme of, who we become and the way that we sort of understand our lives and the way that we make our decisions and our choices. And I think there's been a particular moment that's been kind of rattling around in my brain and I can't get it out. So I figured maybe I can just talk about it. The funny thing is, I've made notes and notes and notes on this moment. And I still can't figure it out. Not completely. So I don't know. Um, yeah, so the first time that I think I taught someone, it was like हाउस हेल्प के बच्चों को पढ़ाया था. उसके अलावा आई थिंक माई स्कूल वॉज डूइंग लाइक दिस Ayabaji adult literacy program that I was there for. And there's like memories that like keep coming up. But I think when I was in college, my like degree was a double major. It was in history and it was in literature. And I don't know about you, but like the humanities majors, especially, the ones that I'd picked, there's always like a question of, okay, but like, what are you going to do with those subjects? What is the point of those subjects? And by the time that I was a junior, I was also thinking about this. And the year that I was a junior in college was also the year that I had to take like a compulsory subject that I'd been putting off for a while, and that was Islamiyat. And strangely, things started from this Islamiyat class. The part of the like part of the course was to do like a group project, and for that group project, I discovered at the time that my university also had like sham ko it like there was like a whole group of children that I would see, and I was like, where are they going? What do they do? Why do they show up in our college at like in the evening? And it turns out that somebody had taken the initiative, and it was sort of like, he said, सड़क के बच्चे या बच्चों जिनको तालीम नहीं मिलती थी. So I guess street children, they would come. And this man, his name was Naveed Saab, he'd started like a tuition center. And so these kids would be there. And so for my group project, I thought maybe my classmates, the five of us, and we could do like a presentation for them, or we could do like a training thingy for them. I don't know. It was just something, maybe we could talk to them, etc. And I think my group at the time didn't have other ideas, or there was nothing else that was happening or something. And so by default, this was the plan that we went with. And so I remember it was me, it was my group mates. We were standing in a line in front of this class, and the teachers had been told कि like, you know, ये कॉलेज यूनिवर्सिटी के बच्चे आएंगे, इनको कुछ लेक्चर या जो भी है देंगे, आप प्लीज़ अकोमोडेट कर लेना. And I had like my computer, and I think I wanted to do like fairy tales because I liked stories and I wanted to discuss things. Like, I think the story that I went with was Cinderella, which was because, you know, there was the movie. And so I had like images of like the movie and then narrated the story. But then would also ask them questions like, you know, do you think this was the right decision to make? Does this person look like they're particularly appealing? How do you think that the story might have ended if this person had done this, or etc., etc.? And I really, really, really enjoyed it. I enjoyed it so much that I wanted to come back. And so I spoke to the man, Naveed Saab, and we came back, or I came back. I came back, and it was not great. No, that's not the right way to put it. It was hard. I'd never really taught a class before. I'd never dealt with such a large group before. Now I know this, but then I didn't know. But like, the environment that you come from, the place that you are in, all of those little things can, you know, they can shape the way that your student body is. Like, there's no homogenous student body. Students are not just like this one random chunk. They're not the same everywhere and anywhere. So yeah, I also, you know, I spoke like this. I think I taught them English and maybe science or something, and then but it was the first sort of experience, and it wasn't something I ended up doing for too long. I think it was something like not even particularly long. Like, I think maybe like the duration of a semester is how long I was with them for. But there's two distinct moments, there's two distinct things that I do remember. One was, I think it was like maybe 2 or 3 classes, and then I went to my friend and I told her, listen, you know that thing that I've been doing, you know, that place that I go to in the evening to teach, I don't think it's working. Because it's not working. I don't think it's going well, so I think I have to stop. And she told me, she's like, it's hard. You knew it was going to be hard. It's just even harder than you thought it was going to be. And that sounds so basic, so obvious, so like, so, but at that moment, it was like what I needed to hear from a friend who saw what I was doing, why I was doing it, in order to persevere. So I'm sorry for restarting, but to get back to it, the second thing was I had a student who was a little bit aggressive in class, and I wasn't sure how to deal with that situation. I didn't know whether, like, what do I do? How do I assert myself? Am I supposed to assert myself? What is the like technique out of this? And it took some time for that like situation to develop. um, but I think this individual had just been told. Like, I remember what I don't remember exactly how it happened, but I think maybe it was like during class, and I might have asked a question, or they might have tried to answer or something. But I remember that they were trying, and that they were struggling, and then that they were very, very embarrassed. And I remember like thinking, I remember like I remember understanding the fact that somebody else wanted to try, but might have been told that no matter what they do, whatever it is that they create might not be good, and therefore sort of acting out in class. And I am not trying to, um, I'm sure that like this is nothing. A lot of teachers probably have similar experiences, probably have like way more experiences like this. But I think, I mean, this is something that sticks in my brain, and I think it goes back to me trying to understand, well, to what, how is it that we become what we become. For a long time, I think I held on to this. Like when I narrate my life to myself or to somebody else, I usually would explain it as that's the moment that I knew I wanted to be a teacher. So it's usually something like in my junior year, I knew I wanted to be a teacher after I graduated. And that can be really difficult, especially when you are like a humanities, social sciences, arts major, simply because you have like that huge question lurking on your head somewhere. Um, but yeah, so to sort of bring this back to that first primary kind of theme of like how is it that we become what we become, there's probably different little flecks of experiences that make up everything that I am today, and they might have something to do with like some thought to do with like what does it mean to educate, what does it mean to empower, what is the point of teaching, how do you create a better society? How do you shape a better world, a kinder world, a more conscientious group of people? But I think in order, like whatever path it is that you pursue because you want to, I think it takes a little bit of faith in yourself. It takes faith to be like, it's gonna be a weird path, but I think I can do it anyway. And that was like a moment for me. Um, so I know I'm talking, I think in my own strange way, I'm trying my best to give power both to a student body and also to um, teaching and systems of knowledge as like a force in society or education as an institution, because I do believe in it. Um, but I think there's that, but there's also, I think for me at least, it was the moment where I suddenly had a little bit more faith. Um, yeah. If you made it this far, um, thank you for your time. Yeah, thank you.